Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming, family, friends, and the Pacific Council. Thanks for creating this space and this, giving us, this opportunity. I will just share and then Dr. Jill for telling me to apply to this project, to the AMPLIFY Fellowship. Thank you so much. So the U.S. African Institute, before diving into my project or organization, in fact, let me tell you about my story, my personal story. A refugee. I came to the United States almost 11 years ago in a search of a better life and in protection. I left, I escaped a dictatorship from Ethiopia almost 11 years ago. And the challenge and the struggle that I faced while I was in college, off campus, and that shaped my understanding about diplomacy, about people-to-people relationship, and the need to provide academic support to underserved students. And in fact, this organization is the product of my doctoral research. When I was at USC, I did a comparative study on the experience of black students. I did some comparing studies in the Southern California colleges and universities. And my lived experience as a refugee and my passion for education and the love of public service are the driving force for me to start this organization. As you look at, the pictures here, the first picture when I became a U.S. citizen, that's almost 5 years ago, with my friends and classmates from USC. There was Mayor Garcetti speaking on refugee and immigration issues at the city council, and also mobilizing our communities here in the Southern California area on social justice issues, and then, of course, with our Vice President Kamala Harris doing some advocacy work at the Capitol in DC. So this is me, this is my story. So my story, my lived experience, and the love of passion for education to make this world a better place, those are the driving force. Really, I'm doing this work from here, from my heart. So the U.S. African Institute, I'm sorry, Jerry, the U.S. African Institute is a 501c3. I'll change that, the nonprofit, I'll change that later. It's actually a nonprofit organization. We're recognized by IRS and also the California Secretary of State. I founded this organization to advance the strategic partnership between the United States of America and Africa, primarily through education and exchange programs. And the vision is to be a catalyst in transforming the strategic partnership between the United States and in African countries and African nations. And the mission is to promote public diplomacy, facilitate exchange programs, and engage in advocacy towards educational equity and justice. So these are our leadership and then consultants. I'm the only volunteer here. I am a full-time volunteer, except some of, and then the rest of our consultants. We have a chief executive officer and also senior initiative officers. They are based in New York, and then the other one is based in South Sudan, and also our tech and then marketing people. And our executive board members, Perry, of course, my mentor, is also a board member, and then Lillian from South Sudan, who was a state minister before, and then all of the people who you see here, they have some kind of connection to the continent of Africa. And these are our strategic advisors. And in our lecturers, starting from Ambassador Susan, who was the U.S. Former ambassador to South Sudan, and also my good friend Professor Salim from California State University, Dominguez Hills, and also Professor Larry from Stanford Human Rights Center, and then also the rest of the professors. These are our lectures on democracy, human rights, and rule of law. I'll come to the project, the programming areas. So these are the programs that we have. So we have the Human Rights, Democracy and Rule of Law Project, the Mandela Fellowship Project, the Integrated Virtual Exchange Learning Program, American Space Project, Student Recruitment for U.S. College, and Policy, Advocacy, and Capacity Building. These are the major programs that we have. Recently, we were selected by the U.S. State Department to host fellows from 26 African countries. And this is a flagship program of the State Department started by President Obama a few years ago, I believe 10 years or 11 years ago. So we'll be hosting 26 African countries in Los Angeles in July. And the programs supports the development of the fellows' leadership skills through academic study, workshop, mentoring, networking with U.S. leaders, and in collaboration with American citizens. And these fellows, during their time here, they'll connect with Americans. They'll learn more about American history, American culture, and tradition. The program also offers insight into a U.S. society through site visits, cultural exchange, and also this project will strengthen the connection between Americans and then Africans. So this is one of our projects that is funded by the State Department. And the other project is the Human Rights and Democracy and Rule of Law Project, and again funded by the U.S. State Department and U.S. Embassy in South Sudan. So we're doing that. This is a local to continental Africa project. We have the local experts from here, and we have also local experts from the African countries. And why I'm doing this work? It's because it's in the economic, security, and political interest of the United States to strengthen a strategic partnership with African countries and also with the hosting communities here in the United States, primarily the African immigrants or the Black immigrants and refugees. And our programs help students learn new language and then appreciate other cultures and gain a greater understanding about people-to-people relationship. The students who are participating in our programs, over 90% of them who participated in our programs significantly developed their intercultural skills, adaptability, self-awareness, confidence, and also access to personal and professional opportunities. And the local and international programs, our local and international programs, are also life-changing experience for many students. From here, the U.S., as well as from Africa in many ways. And so far, what we have done over the last 1.5 years since the organization started, we have already impacted over 24,000 individuals through our Democracy, Human Rights, and Rule of Law project in South Sudan and in around Africa. And 3,100 students are already enrolled in our academic programs through the American Space Project. And then in Ethiopia, we'll be starting a summer camp program which will be serving over 3,000 students. We are the first nonprofit agency in the southern part of this, the Southern California, to be funded by the U.S. State Department to host the Mandela Fellowship and also the Democracy and the Rule of Law project of the State Department. And then we're also working with a number of academic institutions and then governmental agencies. So these are some of the impact that we're making. We're sharing our democratic values and practices to the world, to Africa, to be more specific. So these are some of the impacts that we are making so far. Like I said, I just left my job recently, my full-time job, to run this organization. Some of my staff, they are actually getting paid, but I'm not, because I have the passion and I just want to make sure that this organization is sustainable. So I need money. How much I need money? $500,000. For what? To hire a local and international staff, and also to run our programs. And then the funding will also give us the opportunity to invest on the organizational capacity and foster people-to-people relationship and to provide academic support to students both in the United States and also in Africa. We will also narrow down the performance gap and improve the performance gap for historically underserved students, both here and also in Africa. We'll be able to, through this funding, we'll be able to influence, impact, and effect change in many ways, through advocacy, through direct service, and other programs. So that's the US Africa Institute in general. If you're interested in supporting this cause, please look at the website, engage with us through our social media platforms on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, and that's also the phone number, and then also my email. Thank you so much for creating this space again, and then everyone also for coming and championing in our cause. Thank you, really appreciate it.